juga je sedang wang tengah.
With the Myanmar, major society of the government, they are much more, I won't say clever, they are much more realistic. They maintain, this what is called the camps. They are given everything facility, and some of my friends told me that, sir, our government says about 30 is concerned because this is another area of potential trouble, because those who are left out want to be included, and so that the more deserving one can get it. I think some kind of a realistic thinking, and even when this is the last point, some controversial thing.
Ring Tem, from where the Anand people draw their ethical principles before they were converted into Christianity. So the story of Ring Tem and his beautiful wife called Bumtang. After the day, the story of Ring Tem and his beautiful wife Bumtang. After the death of his beloved wife, he encountered many strange sights that he was eager to understand. This is the main story that I want to put forward here. In the land of the dead, he saw that many people acted light and leather over the street, and people passed to and fro over it. These people
University, and today I'll be presenting a paper on gender dimensions of ethnic conflict in Manipur, exploring the role of social media in shaping impact.
But the portrayal that women can be eloped and can be married out without her consent, and the state that she had to accept her plight without uncompromising nature was shown in the film. Another popular cinema that I have taken up is Thabadon. In this film, the female protagonist was subjected to domestic violence, and even went to the extent that she had to face criticisms regarding the death of her father and her brothers met death because of her sudden course of action. So again, the film was a blockbuster, but the portrayal of women as a very weak, docile, and having a very gentle nature have represented women in the media as having a very low esteem, anxiety, self-doubt with limited aspiration, covered with victim mentality.
So the Naga insurgency is one of the most protracted and complex armed conflicts in South Asia. It has not only shaped the political and social landscape of Nagaland, but also impacted the neighboring states of Northeast India and India's internal security framework. Rooted in a quest for ethnic identity, sovereignty, and self-determination, the insurgency has led to significant upheaval, influencing governance, development, and inter-ethnic relations in the region. During British rule, the Naga Hills spread across the northeastern states and Myanmar were partially integrated into the British India under the excluded areas policy, limiting external interference and preserving the tribe's autonomy. The missionary activities during this period brought education and Christianity to the region, leading to a growing sense of ethnic unity among the Nagas. The political aspiration of the Naga shrouded with the formation of Naga Club in 1918, developed in 1927 with the Simon Commission, and it came to the forefront with the formation of NNC, Naga National Council, in 1946. The NNC declared Nagaland an independent state on August 14, 1947, one day ahead of India's independence. The government of India rejected this declaration and tensions escalated, culminating in the deployment of Indian security forces in the region in the 1950s. Armed resistance grew with the formation of the Naga Federal Government and the Naga Federal Army in 1956, signaling the beginning of an armed insurgency. Now, the 2015 Framework Agreement between NSCN, IM and the Indian government raised hopes of a restoration to a lack of consensus among different factions and different interpretations and disagreements over the term sovereignty have hindered progress. Okay, let's come to the ramifications, consequences of this Naga insurgency, which has dragged on for more than 7 decades. The first ramifications, of course, is the strain on federal structures. So under this point, we may discuss the demand for greater Nagaland or Nagaland. This has caused tensions between different states, neighboring states in the northeast India. The states like Manipur, Assam, Arunachal, and even it had affected the boundaries of the foreign countries like Burma. So, and secondly, socio-economic consequences. Under this head, we can study developmental deficits. So, due to this prolonged insurgency and its leading problems, developmental projects have suffered to a great extent, and it has affected the lives of many in the regions across every spheres. And impact on education and employment due to the constant fightings happening in the regions. There is of course a great impact on education, and this has resulted to a loss of opportunities for the youths in these regions. Then human rights violation due to constant fighting between government of India and NSCN and the Naga groups. The militarization of the region, influence on other insurgencies. It is said that the Naga insurgencies is the mother of all insurgencies. So, and then let's look at the future prospects. Achieving a sustainable resolution requires, number one, inclusive dialogue, bringing all stakeholders, including insurgent factions, neighboring states and civil society to the negotiating table. Then balanced solutions, crafting a settlement that respects the Naga aspirations while addressing the concerns of neighboring states is a wise solution. Developmental focused policies which address socio-economic grievances through targeted investment in education, healthcare and infrastructures. And to conclude, just want to say that the Naga insurgency remains. It has affected, it has been a challenge for India. While progress has been made through dialogues and developmental initiatives, the road to peace is fraught with enormous challenges. A just and lasting resolution will require sustained efforts, political will, and the active involvement of all stakeholders. Such a resolution has the potential to transform Nagaland and the broader Northeast into a beacon of peace, unity, and prosperity. Thank you all.
Thank you. Next is Nazim Kaur.
Respected Chair and all the delegates present here, good morning to you all. My name is Nazim Kaur Pakwanmai, grade 8 student of this department. So the topic that I would like to present this morning is the globalization and development and making economic and social transformation in Northeast India. So contemporary phase of our globalization has undoubtedly opened up new opportunities and widened the horizons of the human civilization. And according to the World Health Organization, says it defines the globalization as the increased interconnectedness and interdependence of people and countries.
Political culture of the people. At the very onset, I would like to make a clarification that this paper is actually a synopsis on my recent research proposal and is currently a work in progress. The observations are therefore not final and are subject to substantiation.
And there are
Originally, 10 paper presenters, but there has been a slight changes in the program. I've been informed by a member of the organizing committee to include MD Firoz Alam Ahmed, research scholar, Department of Home Science, MU.